and then we can see who's online. But we have Commissioner Bonner, Commissioner McSwain, we have Commissioner Lane and Commissioner Ridge, and they're the commissioners of the four precincts here in Freestone County. We have Leonard Smith, he is the emergency manager for Freestone County. We have Dave Lucas, who's the team lead for public assistance. Of course, my name is James Ross, and I am the program delivery manager working for Dave. I tell you what, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
What if you'd introduce yourself?
My name is Renee Gregory. I'm the county clerk.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Jamie Myers. I work in the county clerk's office.
Okay, and so who do we have online? Brandy, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, Brady, I'm the recovery coordinator for Region 8 OTM. I'm filling in for Matthew today.
Okay, is that Kevin online also?
Yes, sir. Kevin, we hear sticks.
Okay, and then from FEMA, we have Deborah Lamb.
Yes, hi. Nice to work with everyone.
Okay, and Deborah is the debris coordinator that I was talking about. So, just to kind of backtrack on how we got here, you know, we had the recovery scoping meeting. We've had a couple of follow-up meetings between now and then. Most of that was with Leonard on phone calls. And we had a phone call with Leonard about a week or so ago, I guess, or something like that. And what it came down to is that it would be best if we would come to the Commissioner's Court. Leonard asked if we could come to it, and we said we certainly would, because what we have going on here is, as I mentioned in the recovery scoping meeting, on that day there is a 60-day clock that starts. And that 60-day clock is basically to get your damages into Grant's manager. And so Judge Grant received this. It was a email generated by Grant's manager. All it says is that there's 15 days into 22nd of October. 22nd of October is the last day that we can get the damages in. So what we're doing here today is talking about what's going to be needed by October the 22nd. Now there's three things that we're going to discuss: debris, the damage list, not the damage inventory, but the damage list. And then also there are 2 or 3 questions that Vinnie Terrell, who was the site inspector, she asked me if I would ask those questions about dates of damages, and I think there were a couple of others, and I'll have to look at my list on that. So with that, as I've told you, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Lamb here in just a minute, we'll talk about debris first. Debris is considered an emergency work, and to get it into Grant's manager, it falls under what we call a SPA, which is a streamlined project application. Now, we don't do those. The debris team does those, and Ms. Lamb is online to talk about that now. She'll probably ask you some questions that she'll need to get answers to, where she can get that SPA in place and get it into Grant's manager by October the 22nd. So, Deborah, do you turn it over to you on whatever you needed to talk about as far as debris.
Okay, James, thank you very much. What I'm going to do is share my screen and go ahead, for time's sake, and create the streamlined project application, which will in turn generate a damage line item for this project. So let me share my screen now, get some questions answered. Not sure if you all can see my screen, but if you can, I'll still be able to ask the questions and get, hopefully get the responses that I need to generate this spot. Are you able to see the project application?
We can, but it's on my computer, so it's kind of small, so, but we can get through, yes, we can go ahead.
Yeah, not a problem at all. What I'll do is just go ahead and ask the questions and read for your approval the project description that I've started on, and it is a draft. But the first question is, excuse me, select the activity the applicant is claiming in this project application. I have selected debris clearance, cut and toss or push, debris removal from the criminal facility, and debris removal from the public right-of-way. That's the one. The other options were debris removal from a waterway, debris removal from private roads, debris removal from private property, or removal from hazardous stumps, trees, or limbs. So do you all agree with my selection that debris cut and toss?
Yes.
Okay. We, in the previous meeting, have already determined that you all have the legal responsibility for this debris removal work to be performed, or that is being performed. You have already identified that you have debris-related expenses that were performed by in-house or force account labor. And the estimated cost to be over $1,037,000. Are we still there with that estimate?
And this is countywide. You're thinking that it's gonna be over the $1,037,000?
No. I don't know, trying to put a pencil to.
They're discussing it right now, Deb.
At $25 a cubic yard, no.
And this isn't just on debris, this is not culverts or anything like that?
No, this is just debris.
I think we'll be less than.
Yeah, it'd be less than me.
I think we will.
On debris. Yeah.
On debris. Yeah, Deborah, on debris, they've had time to look at it a little closer, and it's gonna be under the million.
Let me just run some.
Okay, got it. And I actually saw something that said for debris only, there was a rough estimate of $180,000, but that was back in August. So things did change.
Yes,
So
go ahead.
okay, the brief description that I entered is during the incident period from April 26th to June 5th, 2024. Texas faced severe storms, straight line winds, tornadoes, and flooding, and blew trees and vegetative debris onto Freestone County roadways throughout the entire county, causing roadways to be impassable for traffic. The applicant utilized force account labor and equipment to remove, and then I have a blank for the amount of debris that was removed. And it can be entered in either cubic yards or tons of vegetative debris. Do you have an estimate on that so I can fill in that blank?
I don't think we have it yet. I think, because each precinct is going to provide us with some information, and we're going to have to add all 4 of the different precincts into one total cost estimate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. I'll leave the blank line there for future update. So this vegetative debris was removed from public rights of way. The county plans to pick up all the debris, remove it to permanent disposal sites, burn the debris, then spray the ashes. There are no plans for temporary disposal sites.
No.
If anything in there needs to be revised, please let me know and I'll do that update for you. Okay, the next section in the description is work completion by precinct. And I know these numbers have changed. Precinct 1, 40%, precinct 2, 20%, precinct 3, 50%, and precinct 4, 80%. Any updates on those, or that's to be obtained?
None for me, precinct 1, none.
I'd probably say precinct 2 would be 50%.
You said 52?
Yes, precinct 2, 50%.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask like that.
I'm above 80%.
Okay, and that's precinct 3.
Three.
Precinct 3 above 80%. Commissioner Reed,
90%.
pardon,
90%?
90%, and that is 4, right?
Yes, sir.
Precinct 4, 90%, and Mr. Bum?
I was on 40, I'm still on 40.
Okay. Precinct 1, 40%.
Okay. Got it, thank you. All right, then I also have an area to be entered. I know once you start getting on your cost calculated for your force account labor, which again is the same as your in-house labor, your in-house workers' expenses or charges. So force account labor, I have nothing yet. Force account equipment, and then I'm not certain if you've actually had any contracted work for this removal.
Any contract work, guys?
No. Oh, which were the?
Just on the debris, did you have any contract work,
No.
like going out above and beyond your force
No.
account? No.
No contract work on debris, just all force account.
And that's for all of the precincts, is that correct?
That is correct, for all 4 precincts.
All right, I'll put a 0 there just to make sure that they know we asked that question. So have you all been given a template for calculating the cost for the debris removal from your force account? If not, I can provide one to you after this meeting. And in fact, I can show you this one. Well, you know, everyone can't see it, but it's the category A only cost summary. So you can capture your cost for labor, equipment, and voluntary labor if there was some.
That would be our FEMA rate
If you
sheet
need it,
that we have.
It's just for debris though, and,
That's where we can plug in
yes.
those rates off of that
Yeah,
FEMA
if you
sheet.
could send that form, it'd be wonderful.
Yeah, we'd love to have that email form.
okay. Deborah, if you want to send that in to Judge Grant, she's on the contact list, or you can send it to me and I'll broadcast it out to Judge Grant and all the commissioners.
So why don't we do that? Why don't we just send it to James and he'll send it out?
Okay, just send it to me then, if you don't mind, Deborah.
that's exactly what I'll do. Thank you so much. And that'll make it easier because the other spreadsheet captures all the other categories, including category A, but this one just makes it easy to push this one along so we can get it processed. So I'll send that ASAP. Go back to the questions. Did or will the applicant remove any privately owned vehicles or vessels from public property?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So that's a no. Is the debris removal under the authority of any other federal agency such as EPA, the Army Corps of Engineers, the Coast Guard, Department of Agriculture? And I had selected no, but you can select either of those or say unsure.
No, ma'am. No other authority.
All right, thank you. Did or will the applicant coordinate with another federal or state, territorial, or tribal agency for any other debris activities performed?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Next section relates to the cost again. Excuse me. Did or does the applicant have insurance that may cover any activities being claimed on this project?
Not on debris.
Not on. No, ma'am, not on debris.
All right. Has the applicant applied for or received any funding for debris removal from any other federal agency?
No.
And then the options are yes, and funding was approved, yes, but the federal program has not yet approved the funding, yes, but the other agency has conclusively denied the funding, or no.
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm gonna put a placeholder for where it says what is the approximate net total cost for activities being planned on this project. I'm just gonna put, 200,000 for now as a placeholder.
Okay. And let me ask you this question on that, Deborah. With that placeholder, we don't want anything to hold up the spa as far as it going in by the 22nd. We know that some things may change on there, but so with that, will you have the information that you need to go forward with the spa?
Once I get this worksheet returned, filled out and returned, the one that I will send today, that'll help me to fill in that blank.
Okay.
That all that'll be lumped up in that one line.
Okay.
But the sooner I get that back, the better.
Okay.
Okay. So on to the next section. Has the applicant started any of the work? We know that's a yes. Date started, I saw that. That's been answered before, so pardon me for having to look it up again. Okay, can you confirm the date it was started? I see two different dates.
She's asking for
What?
the first day that the storm started.
Oh, that's going to be April 26th.
Mine started May the
That's when I
5th.
saw that.
No, I started April 26th, that's the day that the straight line winds went through
Into
Oakwood.
that.
The rain started and I lost the approaches and the cover on May the 5th.
But it all started on the 26th, and we just kept getting rain, and that's started on. Because a lot of my roads, you know, some of my roads were May the 5th, but
Okay,
as far as debris,
Yeah, it
my
all
first
started.
night was.
okay, yeah. I
We
get
started dealing with it the 26th, the night of the 26th.
No, it's not a problem. It's also the other date that I saw, and it was not for debris, so you're all good. Okay, the next one is, has the applicant completed all the work claimed? And we know that's a no. An estimated, anticipated completion date would be appreciated if you can give me one to use.
Okay. Just an estimated completion date.
I hope to be done by the 22nd of October.
All right, so you don't have to hit that for us.
I know, but
So-
that's my little, my little goal.
Okay, yeah, all right, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't want to put any additional pressure on you.
I just like, I like to know what we're dealing with instead of estimating. I want to try to, my guys, we're where we can now, and the weather cooled off, and we're hitting it head on right now.
So what Deborah's asking for is that, so we have an estimate on the project itself.
Yeah.
The next thing that we're gonna talk about is that the work from the declaration day, emergency work, category A's and B's, is, FEMA always estimates that the work's gonna get done within 6 months. If it's longer than that, we're gonna need to get an extension from the state. Okay, so if there is a date on that, once that project gets updated and we have a number on it, we'll talk with you about sending a request to the state, okay? So sorry, Deborah, didn't want to take that away from you, go ahead.
No, not a problem at all. The easiest way to get, the best way rather, is to give me the estimate for the one that's furthest out for completion, which is precinct 1 at 40%. Do you have an anticipated completion date for that one? For debris removal only?
Debris removal on February the 1st, 25.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, it's just a certification, just to generate a project number. I have to certify that everything in here is current and that only the certain statements are used for this project application. I'll make that certification for you. And now we have, let's see, one thing I have to validate on here. One question was missed. Did or does the applicant have insurance that might cover any activities? You gave me the answer. I didn't fill in the bubble.
No. No is the answer. No is the answer.
It was no. Yes, sir. That's what I am thinking. So, one quantity of debris. I'm just gonna put a placeholder in here for the quantity of 400 statewide. And want to make sure that all who are in attendance understand that this is an estimated quantity for now,
An
a big estimate.
an estimated quantity of cubic yards for the county.
Yes, yes.
And again, this is just a ballpark, we understand.
I'm, okay. I can, it's an estimate, I was figuring how loads of this, I gotta recheck.
Hold on just a second, Deborah, and let me ask, Commissioner Lane, you said that you're just about through? How many cubic yards did you have?
That's what I haven't totaled it all
Oh,
up yet.
okay, right,
I've got it, I mean, it's all in the book, but,
It's okay, we can just come up, again, this is just an estimate. She's gonna send us those things, those forms, we're gonna fill those out, and then we'll update those. So, again, we can just throw anything out there right now, just it's a placekeeper.
We'll do 20 yards.
Okay, and I'm moving on with before I create this, before I create this file, I need to have one thing, one note, and that is we will need the approved TDSR forms from TCEQ and THC for the debris burning.
what form was that?
There's no permit.
Bernie.
It's a burn, it's a, not necessarily even a form, if there is a letter documenting that the approval is already in place. It can be that I can see a note that says there were no permits before, and there probably won't be any permits, I think, but we will need some kind of statement, or requires a statement that you have permission to do debris burning.
That's through
That permission
TCEQ.
comes from the state.
I think we'll work on that. We
I was
talked
just saying,
about-
You printed off those, you pretty well,
Okay, so.
We talked to that guy.
Yes, we talked to him, was over behind the building that day. Basically, we didn't fall under anything, I think what they said is that our burn piles that we've used for years, that kind of your go-to places.
yeah, we've got certified.
That we needed to get a longitude and latitude of those piles. And then, I think it was at the discretion of the court if we wanted to, like say that we'd elected to use them, or I'm trying to think of how that was worded, Andy.
I can't, well,
But those
So
two
what do you think
printed
about
off, those
TCEQ?
were wrong. They, as long as we were good to go,
Yeah, the thing is, we didn't have
a restriction.
anything in a county policy
Yeah.
that restricted us from doing it, but we also didn't have anything in a county policy that said we didn't need it.
So I think what FEMA is looking for is just one way or the other, that you may have to just send an email over there and say, hey, this is per our conversation that we had, this is what we did and where we did it. They may just send an email back saying that there's nothing required. We need something in writing.
If we have those longitudes, latitudes on those, that would be a big, that identifies that site.
I think that would be the best thing, because again, either they're gonna tell you need a permit and have you fill it out, or they're gonna send you an email back that says you don't need one, and that's what FEMA's gonna need, one way or the answer, an
Because
answer.
the way I read it, as long as we manned that pile while we burned it and controlled it, I mean, that was one of the, you know, we were good to go, you know, with
So you see where FEMA's getting from this, one way or the other, just getting an answer from
and
them.
an email will work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
In the email, what would be the most specific one-liner on that email? What does it need to say? Just so we get it right the first time?
Well, I mean, from my standpoint, I'd just say, as per our discussion, using existing burn piles located at, and give the latitude, longitude. This is how we dispose and are disposing of our debris.
Yeah, are going to, because I'm
Yes.
wearing the burn ban, so we have to.
Right, I think using both of those in there is correct.
And then, say, looking for concurrence and a response back. And kind of keep it short and to the point, and let them respond back.
And we may want to just add a portion of it that it was the debris created by that series of events
Yeah.
in that disaster.
Yeah. You can put in DR 4781, and that links it back to this disaster.
Okay.
Okay, Deborah, the commissioners are gonna send that out to the state of Texas DQ, I guess, and get that answer back.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. So one other final question that I have is regarding monitoring the debris removal operations. And it shows that there was no contracted debris monitoring. So I also like that you all used in-house, all 3 precincts used in-house force account labor for monitoring.
That is correct.
Okay. That concludes, unless you all have questions of me, that concludes my briefing on Category A, debris removal operations. And I thank you so much. We have now created a streamlined project application for Category A.
Okay.
And then that worksheet y'all are going to email us, we can transfer our, do that pricing list. Take our journal, tons of stuff and equipment used, and we'll put all that in there, and that'll be, okay.
Okay, so Deborah, you said that we created that, so now we have a DI number and a project number for this category A?
Yes, yes, project number 758-697.
All right, so on that, again, I'm gonna just kind of summarize that, make sure we know what actions need to be done. So Deborah has started our project, we have a project number for it.
Sure.
Okay. We'll take a look at that, we'll be able to fill that in. She's gonna send that form over to James, James is gonna send it to everybody. You guys are gonna fill that in, that's gonna give us more of an estimate of what we think for each precinct, what your quantities are, and what you think your costs are, okay? And then that way we can keep moving to get this closer to where it needs to be.
Because I'm estimating 50%, and I got a journal, and once I compile that, we can
Absolutely.
add and double it. And
Okay, all right, so, and then the other action that is happening is you guys are gonna reach out to,
TCQ.
yep, and then that action will be going. All right, one of the things James and I will look in is the timeline, since you're estimating February 1st, I think it's past the 60 days, you may need to send in a request to the state to give an extension, and we'll give you the project number and what the date and when we need to send that in, so that you guys get yourselves covered on that. And that's okay, the state has the authority to give you an extra 6
What
months.
day, where would that 60-day put us if we?
That is from May the 17th. May the 17th, 6 months from May the 17th. That, a lot of people get that confused, as the date of the declaration.
Yeah, so that's.
It's November. Yeah, and I could hit that date right there. I'm gonna be between 8,000 and 9,000.
Hold on, just a second.
Well, I just estimated kind of how many loads I think I know they hauled a day, and those 16-foot trailers, how many yards are you
I'm
going?
calculating it at 16, but I'm rounded, I've just said 16.7 or something like that.
Yards per load?
Yes.
Well, we pile ours up high,
Right.
so I was adding a 1.5 feet to mine,
Right.
just to be fair, so.
Yeah.
I was bumping closer to 20 yards,
Mhm.
18 to 20 yards a load.
Right.
So if they do 8 loads, I'm 160, I was just, I may not be 2,500 yards easy
Yeah.
plus. I mean, I'm grabbing that number
Sure.
because I don't,
Sure.
I wrote all that down, but I didn't.
I probably have more just because of the quadrant of the county.
Is it
that we're in,
necessary
you
to
know?
have, to document, which I haven't, what roads the loads they came from, the location? I mean, you know, we write down, okay, well, we did these 5 roads today, so many loads off of those roads. Does that matter?
Don't think we need it right now. Again, that's part of what this new process is with FEMA, where we're trying to do this simplification. Now, you should have all that documentation in case you get audited.
Yeah.
All right, but what you want to do is at least have some kind of a documentation on where you came up with your estimates in case you're ever audited. But I don't believe they need that right now.
We write it down just for our, you know, it's.
That's right.
Well, we got it by road.
Yeah.
That also gets back into your monitoring, self-monitoring.
Yeah.
It's good documentation for that.
I mean, I've got a journal for every day, what everybody does every day.
We had somebody had a,
Who's had a question online?
Kevin.
Okay. Go ahead,
I
Kevin.
heard there was talk about time extensions for the emergency work projects.
Correct.
Just to, before I wanted to bring up the account activation process. I talked with Mr. Leonard Smith, I believe it was yesterday, about this. So there's another system called TDM's Grant Management System, where once projects are obligated, they'll be migrated to GMS, where we handle payments for these projects and time extensions. So we just need to complete that account activation sooner than later, just so that once projects do get obligated, we can start processing and start throwing down funds. I would still stay definitely to prioritize getting all of the damages reported to FEMA to meet that damage inventory deadline, but just wanted to quickly send out a reminder about the account activation in those documents. Just let me know if you guys have any questions about them. It includes a direct deposit form, a list of your contacts for Freestone County, and a couple other things. Just let me know if you guys have any questions once filling them out. And once we have projects obligated, especially the Cat A, we can start working on that time extension to get it out until February instead of November.
That's through TDM, right?
Sir?
That's through TDM?
That's TDM's grant management system.
Yes, that's the state, yes.
if they recipient, we give them the money and they're the ones that distribute it to you.
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to email me anything.
Okay, what I'll do, Kevin, I'll get your number and I'll send that out, your name and number, and Brandy, do you want me to put you on there or Matthew?
You can put us both on there. Freestone's normally my jurisdiction about handling of this disaster.
Okay, and y'all will have their contact information, so if you have any questions about what you need to do for that activation.
When do we need to start that activation?
We need to get it done.
Like sooner or later? Yeah.
I'd say still, we have the damage inventory deadline, which is, I think it was October, 20-something.
22nd.
But, we have that deadline coming up, it's just when any projects are obligated, before we can process payments and have to have that activation done. There's a deadline to do it, but it's more so just being proactive and, having it ready for we can start processing projects.
Okay, any
Go
other,
ahead and just hop on in with that question.
what was that last part, Kevin?
I was thinking, I gotta hop on another call late, but if anyone has any questions about that, for Chairman or email.
No, I think we have any questions for the state, right? And I think we're kind of summarized the category A, right? So I don't think we have any more questions for that.
No.
So Deborah, can you kind of,
Right. Deborah, I think we're good. So if, and I'll get back, when I get back, I'll talk with you about what we have here, if you have anything else.
Okay, I will.
Hey, tell Deborah to change mine from February, just move it to November.
Oh,
Whatever
Deborah,
that 60-day deal is.
Yes,
that end date, if you could change it from February the 1st to November,
Whatever the date is from May, the 60 days.
Oh.
17.
November 17th.
November 17th, okay.
Yes.
That's the anticipated completion deadline anyway.
Right.
Required actually without extension. Okay, so we can do that, and we don't need an extension at this time.
November 16th.
Okay.
17th, yes, sir.
I'll go back and make that change.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, she'll use that for the estimate on that, but if something comes up and you need that, we know that you are eligible to get that extension, okay? So I don't want to put any additional stress on you guys as it is.
Okay, with that, why don't we move on then to permanent fix or permanent repair. I think everybody has one of these. Yes, Leonard, you got one? I know Dave wanted to talk about this. What we're looking for, this is how we put the categories for roads and bridges and also for buildings. We know y'all have 2 buildings. That this is how we put it into the damage inventory. The debris is the spot. The permanent work is we take your list and we put it into a damage inventory in Grants Manager. I will do that. However, just to kind of explain what we're looking at and for by October 22nd, Dave, I think you said you wanted.
So I've only been in your state for just over a month now, and I'm dealing with some of your neighboring counties. And there's been a lot of stress put on you guys to make sure you have everything done within that 60 days. I want to make sure that everybody understands that the due date for the 60 days is just letting us know what you think is damaged and eligible during that event by that date. We don't need all the supporting documentation. We just need your best shot at it. And then when we get into it a little bit deeper with you guys, we may ask other questions. And as long as we know on this list that they already said, hey, this happened during the event, we'll look at it. So even if you think it's on the fence, you're like, I don't know if he was gonna do that, just put it on the list. It's easier for us to withdraw it than it is to add things after the 60 days. So that's why I just wanna make sure you guys don't have all that pressure, because you guys are trying to put the numbers together. You're still dealing with emergency stuff, you're dealing with your regular work. FEMA's not trying to put additional stress on you guys for this. So I just want to make sure, that's why we keep saying the 60 days, 60 days, 60 days. Now this document that we use, and of course, you guys know how this is, we work for the government, so why do things easy when you can do it 2 or 3 times? But basically, whoever put this together put a title on this, says it's your damage inventory. It can be confusing, especially with counties that have lots of roads, because we can't put a DI number on each road. We usually think about this more like a damage list. Just put all the lists. Then we would sit with you and say, hey, how are you actually going to do your work? And then we would group things up and we would put them into a DI. I'm dealing with a couple of the counties, Hamilton, they have 162 roads. All right, so we can't have an individual DI for each one of them. So we broke it into each precinct, and then what we did is we looked at it and we said, if it's something that might be in the water, we always put it on its own DI. So if you have a culvert, a bridge, a low water crossing, we would put that in its own DI. Because even though we put it in the DI, we could still group it up and put it in a project later on. But sometimes we have to keep things separate because it might be an emergent or environmental thing, and I'd hate for it to hold up all the other ones that are just washouts, that you guys may want to put in another project to get that moving forward so we can get that funded. So we'll give you those options on that. Your guys' are pretty clean. You guys know exactly what you're looking for. There's just a couple of questions that we may talk about grouping up. But I wanted you guys to understand the concept of that. So if it's washouts, we usually just group up, 10 roads. So that's how the site inspectors can put together. Even if a road has 3 different sites, we still put it down as one road, and we group it up with 9 other roads. Yours, I don't think we're running into that problem. There might be 1 or 2 of them that we're gonna group up. It's on the same road, you have it in like 3 sites. I forget which one it was. I think it's in
10 acres.
so I just wanted you guys to understand the concept of that. And then we look at the difference between if it's 100% completed, so we don't need a site inspector out there, or if it's less than 90% completed, we send a site inspector out. Our leadership for this disaster, and there's pros and cons for everything. Usually we wait to get through this process before we send out site inspectors. Our leadership wanted people to go out and see these sites as soon as we got out of an RSM. It's a little bit more difficult for us to keep control of it as far as the FEMA person because we don't have a DI number to associate it to yet, but our site inspectors went out and looked at the work and they're gathering that information. So after we get past the 60 days, we will have DI numbers for it. We will do an after the fact. We'll send them an email. That is a formal work order for the site inspectors. They already have the information. We will let you guys know on an email that we're sending that, because if you get a notification, you'll go, what the heck? They're telling us we need a site inspection. We already have them. We will send you an email before you get that notification so that you know that we're just following the process and catching up what the site inspector already went and saw. And it has a formal work order and it gets into the grants portal so that you guys can continue tracking it. And that's the whole concept of FEMA using the project manager, project portal for you guys, that it's transparent. Anything we do and any notes on there, you can see it. Anything we attach or you attach, we all can see it. Same thing with the state. So this is just a close the loop. Even though we had site inspectors go out, we're gonna have to do formal work orders and we're gonna close that loop. And then whatever she did, Vinnie did for you guys, hard copies are gonna put in electronically in what we call the DDD, the damage description and dimensions, and you're gonna be able to take another look at it to make sure we have it. So we will work with you on that portion of it. I just wanted you guys a general idea of how we put this together. So what we have looked at on these, we just have a few questions. You're not like some of the other ones where we were grouping together. I put those 164 of them into, it ended up with 24 different DIs. Because there was some bridges and stuff that were on their own. We still haven't grouped them up into a project because we want to get with the applicant and start looking at individuals. But we are breaking them up per precinct, and then we'll be able to work with you individually on just the ones that are associated to you. So that way we can track the money correctly, because that's how you guys get reimbursed, okay? I'll take any questions on that. Just make sure everybody understood this process.
And what we need to, as far as putting this in, or getting ready to group it and put it into grants manager, is the information. And if you go to the spreadsheets here, what's shaded in red, we need to put some information in. Now, I did mention that under description damage, if it already has something written in there, all I did was shade that in just to make sure that that's the description that you wanted. If it's blank, we need the information. Under approximate cost, it gets back to the fact of you may or may not have done it by now, and you may have the actual cost you want to put in there, or you may want to show an approximate cost. It doesn't matter. Just whatever you think is your best estimate. If you don't have actual cost, whatever is easiest for you in this situation. Then also on some of these, I think Mr. McSwain, you talked about on yours, labor type. Is all of this going to be done by a forced labor, or are you going to have a contract to do some of this work?
I've got contract on 2. One was a combination of contract and forced labor. And then the other one was, you call us doing it as force account. Yeah. Force account, okay. And I didn't know how y'all wanted to code that. I didn't know there was a code for that when it said labor type.
Yeah.
And I didn't,
And that's why,
however I need to put it in there.
if you just let me know, the spreadsheet itself has a drop-down list. It's, a lot of times it's easier for you just tell me and I'll put that information in. But yes, force account, contract, you can have a combination of both, but we can get it in there. So for yours, I've got force account and contract, force account, force account.
The top one is contract, the bridge.
Okay,
The second one is a combination contract and force.
okay,
And 710 is a contract, and then the last one is force.
last one is force account,
Yeah.
okay.
That's how my brain.
And as far as,
And I'm 100% complete on everything.
Okay.
I've changed that first one to 100 instead of 90.
okay,
I've already got all the tack down, the whole numbers. That's the numbers that are, I've got receipts for, that's in there.
And then, also for, Commissioner Bonner, he's got 100% on both of them.
100%, you need to change mine to FA/C, both of them,
FA,
FA/C.
oh, slash C,
Yes, sir.
okay. And, an approximate cost or any, or
I got
cost?
clear in there, I got it.
Okay, great.
I'm just gonna give them the ones you gave me.
Okay.
So on
Yeah.
labor type, if it is,
I keep.
I wrote them down,
Yeah.
I wrote them down as you showed them.
Okay, just mine?
Yes.
Okay.
if it is force account and contract, then we just put them both in the.
Yeah, there's a drawdown on that, and it'll give you an
I
option.
guess
to
I
do
missed
both.
that. I didn't
Yeah.
do
No,
that.
it's all good.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Sometimes I don't know what drop downs are.
Oh, it's on the first page. Well, I didn't look on the first page.
Yeah. And, as far as, on precinct 3, and I know that there was, we have a good bit of red on that one, but, do you have the lat and long of each one, I guess, Mr. Lane?
Well, here, let's, again, I wanna get too confused here, but until we start asking for that, let's ask a couple other things.
Okay.
On this, because, I'm just a little confused on some of the things that say culvert dash trees, and then we have other ones that just say trees. So
Yeah.
I need to, so,
So on that same road,
okay,
yes, I lost a culvert, washed away.
okay,
So we're done that, and so anywhere it says culvert, that's gonna be, a force account and contract.
okay.
Then where it says trees, well, that's just where we had to remove trees just to get to the culvert that's washed out, you know?
So, and here's, and thank you for the answer on that, but there's two different ways we can do that. When the tree fell, when you lost that, did you use that for debris? Or did you get rid of that tree with your force account kind of associated with the culvert?
Goes back to emergency, so it was 2 stages in the work. So we cut our way down the road, clearing the road as we go, then you get to where you got a culvert washed out.
Okay.
Some of these went on the same day.
Yeah.
So like the big, like County Road 340, for instance. County Road 340, we cut trees off of it. It was 4 days later before I lost that culvert.
Yeah.
But it was one of my roads that we had to work from both ends of the road and work to ourselves to get in there. But on that particular night, that road, that culvert was there, but I had bukus of trees laid over the road.
Okay.
So my early dates is just trees.
Okay.
Now, as far as debris, the only thing I haven't done my man hours on the debris. Just like I say, I've got loads and I just haven't calculated it yet. Where should I put my man hours, on debris or on?
Well, here's where I'm gonna give you some of the different things that FEMA can do, and we'll figure out what works best for you, okay? So, and I'm gonna, and it might not is exactly what happened out there, but you had a site you had to go look at, you're seeing if it's damaged, tree falls over, you move it out of the way, go back, you're still in this incident period, it's a month and a half, you know, so it's not a problem that it happened on the same day, as long as it happened during the incident period, that's all. But if we think that the tree removal and the culvert were all kind of caused incidental because of the same type of event that was happening, we could put that in. But if you're taking that tree thing and you're adding it into your debris portion of it, we can only fund it once. If you're not using it in your debris, we will take it and we'll put it in this one with the culvert and we'll say that it's incidental to the damage to the culvert. And what your force account staff did, we could do that. So it's one way or the other. If we think it's associated to the culvert damage, then we can add that in, or we can find a way to put it in with the debris portion of it.
Probably better for debris, because like I say, that, those first two, the first 48 hours, okay, that we were out there, we were just shoving stuff off the road enough to make it passable.
Right.
You know,
Emergency.
and so the roads that I just put trees on, we made all those roads passable.
Okay.
As we got to them. The ones that say trees and culvert, like I say, we made them passable. 2 or 3 days later, water gets up enough water coming down the creek washes the culvert out, so it's a whole different incident.
Right, okay.
So if you want me to keep,
If you can track the tree stuff,
just leave the trees on debris.
and add it into the debris portion,
no
as
problem.
long as we're
That's
covered.
easy. Yeah.
My big thing is I want to find a way to find anything that you guys think are eligible for. We can only do it once, so if you can track it and you can put it into your debris.
It's easier on me.
Okay, let's do it that
So I'm
way.
gonna show those man hours clearing the roads,
Yeah.
and then be different dates when we went back and actually cut up and hauled off to a burn pile of those trees.
Right.
So I
And it's
got man
okay.
hours clearing, and I got man hours
Yep,
removing.
okay, and that's fine. Just make sure you add both of those into your estimate.
Right.
And-
And I don't have anything, I didn't have like where I lost a culvert in a tree was right there, and, you know, that's part of the debris. I'm not counting that.
Okay, it's not a problem, I just want to make sure that we find one way or the other to get that on there. So that way, when we're putting together these portions with the category C type of damages, the road, culverts, bridges type of things, are 2 separate type of exercises, and at least we got it covered on both of them. So on these, when, in the direction that James was getting to, he started asking Latin longs for where those culverts are. I just didn't want to get that confusing with the trees. So you're going to take the tree stuff, do that separately.
Yeah.
Now on the culvert ones, we're asking if you can help us get the Latin long for those sites.
Okay.
And then, and again, the descriptions don't have to be too in-depth. You can just say, you know, size of the culvert, how much got washed out, that's good. And just take your best shot. I don't know if this is still work completed or work to be completed. And if we can update those.
Yeah, so I need to update mine because I've got all my,
Okay.
everything except for County Road 290, which I think's on the.
Okay, yeah.
So what
in
I'll
red,
end up,
that's one that was a mitigation
okay,
area, and 481, that was another mitigation. Now 382, that's the only thing I haven't done that repair.
Okay, and that's fine. Just tell us how much you think is got done on that, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, so the ones on here that you have at the end of the first page, where it's just trees itself, was there any other road damages on those sites?
No, those were all just trees.
Okay, so that is already gonna be caught up in that category A that Deborah just built. And when she built that project, it actually started the DI number for it. So you can take those off the list, they're already in something else, as long as you add that information into that spreadsheet we're sending over to you for the category A. So we have the work and equipment and materials and the time for the labor, so we'll get that.
so just so I'm clear on all of this, I'm taking the trees off of everything, because that's gonna be debris. And then I'm just leaving in if it has a culvert attached, I'm just gonna leave it like, Freestone County Road 400 culvert. And then the last ones down there that just have trees, I'm gonna take those off completely. They're gonna be under debris. And so what we'll have is just reading from the top down, culvert, 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 culvert. And then we get into the areas that are in red. Now, are all three of those red? I realize that some of them are mitigation, but that's
And
road damage,
382.
and head wall.
Yes, that 382, that is work that still needs to be performed.
Okay, that's fine.
So right now, so let's go back to the description on that. Where I've got 75%,
Yes, sir?
that was on road repair. Because that was one of my emergency, it's a dead end road, I had a cancer patient, had a infant down there, so that was a high priority road. So what we did, we went down and we put a bunch of concrete in, so that concrete is taking the place of that head wall right now.
Okay.
Okay, so there's an emergency repair made. So I would say 382 is gonna be on there twice.
Okay.
Because there's a bunch of work that's been done,
Okay.
but yet to go back and fix that head wall, like I say, it needs to be done, but I hadn't even gotten started and I don't know if I'm gonna do it for the county, if it's gonna be a contract.
So are you gonna build on what you had there, what you've done for the emergency work?
Part
Are
of
you
my
gonna
wall
remove?
is, part of my wall is still there.
Okay, okay.
And so when everything washed out behind the wall and it cut back up into the road and it wasn't passable,
Okay.
the water got behind that wall, I mean, it got deep, all my posts and everything, they start clogging off, covering up the culvert, which just caused that much more erosion. So right now, I've got chains on it, and I've got that thing pulled back, and I've got it chained to a tree.
Okay.
So it's water, and I put a bunch of concrete in behind it.
Okay.
But I mean, I got dry pilings and everything else to get the actual head wall fixed.
Okay. Are you gonna leave though what you have now in place when you come back and do your permanent work?
We'll take the chain off.
Yeah.
So I gotta add some more, just with what happened and what trees we lost out there, I'm gonna have to make the head wall a little bit longer,
So and the reason that we're asking this question is and I'm not trying to confuse you. We're just trying to get our head wrapped around and feel the best way to do it, okay? Because with an incident period that long, and you did some work under emergency conditions, so if it was permanent work done under emergency conditions, like you're gonna leave that stuff there and you're just gonna add it in. If you're gonna totally remove it, we could look at a category B and saying, we just put that in temporarily, we're gonna remove this, and then we're gonna come back and do permanent work. But so one way or the other, we can still fund it. I'm just trying to find what's the right way to do it. And because you went in and put it concrete, and before it was probably just gravel or something else.
Well, when I say, I'm talking about busted up concrete, so rip wrap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, rip
yeah,
wrap.
I didn't mean like poured concrete.
Okay.
No, the riffraff was put in
Okay.
just to hold the road,
Okay.
just to stop that erosion
Okay, gotcha.
temporarily.
Okay.
So an ideal fix is to go and excavate that riffraff,
Okay.
dry pylons,
Okay.
get the steel welded back where it ought to be, and then backfill that with clay.
Okay.
And then that riffraff that we remove out of there is gonna be feathered out along the side to keep that from,
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Kind of like extending the head wall without using metal.
Okay. So my next question on this one is, and you don't have to have a full answer, but do you think that emergency work, when you put in that temporary riprap on there, do you think that's over $4,000 worth of work?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So then I would recommend we would add a category B on this thing. Okay, because it's something that we did under emergency conditions, and we're gonna remove the whole thing. So we can put that under a category B. We can come up with an estimate, either that you're gonna remove that with the permanent work, or we're gonna go back to the category B and you're gonna remove it, and we would add that estimate of what it would take you to remove it. So there's two different ways to do it. When we get a little bit farther along on it, we will walk through this with you to figure out what's the best way to do it.
Gotcha.
Okay? But again, I want to find which way you are eligible for. So, as a learning opportunity, if you put something in and say, Yeah, it was under emergency conditions, but we're gonna leave it there, it's still permanent work. We would have added it to the permanent work. If you're removing it, then it would go under a category B, and we can at least do fund there on that one, that's a quick one. We can get that one moving real quick to get you reimbursed. And then we would go forward with a separate one where there is the permanent work, where you have to get in and do all of those tough things. Yeah,
Pretty big ordeal.
okay.
Okay, on the 481, was that,
41, I think we just need to scratch completely. And that's the one that we looked at doing mitigation, and it didn't sound like when Benny and the TDM guys and I were down there on that inspection, you would be looking at really trying to raise that road. They didn't think that raising it in the distance that I was talking about would ever solve any problems in the future, so I think it didn't qualify.
okay, but did you repair, well, was there something?
Yes,
that you
I had
repaired?
to just, yes.
Okay, that repair can still go in.
Okay.
So, it's just, it has to go back like it was before.
Okay. Yeah, that's where it is right now.
Okay, and that's an opportunity for me to make sure that you guys understand this too, so. And I don't know if this was explained to you correctly, but the way that FEMA does this is that the only reason it got declared as a disaster is above and beyond a normal disaster. And FEMA always wants to know what it was right before the event happened, because FEMA wants to bring you back to pre-disaster condition. That's our baseline. That doesn't mean that that's what you have to do, but that's where we have to come up with the, what was damaged, what would it take to bring that back to pre-disaster. Then you let us know what you want, and we'll see if there's a code and standard that we can use, if there's a least called alternative, we want to do something different, or if we use mitigation, but we got to start with that baseline. So far, it doesn't seem that we've run into any of those scenarios, but this was the closest one, and it was the best opportunity for me to explain it to you. Because the only way I learn, I can read this policy until I'm blue in the face, until I start implementing it with a real project, then I go, oh, that's what they mean by that. So I like to use these actual examples, specific projects, so that I can tell you how FEMA works with it, because that's the way I learn. So just wanted to use that opportunity. Thank you.
James, on that 481, you can move that from 30 to 100%,
Okay.
as far as fixed as it was.
Okay, let me ask this, Mr. Lane, on the, everywhere that now that you have a culvert, is that going to be, and I don't want to jump around too much, but is that going to be contract, or did you do that force account?
They're a combination of both.
Okay, combination of
All
both, on all those, okay,
And those are all 100% now.
okay,
The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those top 6,
yes,
so those are all 100%. And then, the others, I could 100% some of these roads if you want to go ahead and do that right now.
okay,
Or some of the roads that just say trees.
okay, so they're the ones that just said trees, you actually did some road work.
No, I'm just saying as far as the,
Tree removal?
those are all moving to category A, so. we're not
Yes,
gonna
that's
have-
right,
okay,
that's right, yes.
So those 5 we're removing.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
One other thing, or well, 2 other things, on the, I've got, on 481, I've got 100%, 382, what is your estimate on the percent?
Well, that 75% was on there because that was, basically I had the road 75% back. So if we're talking about the road, then I'm gonna call it 100% fixed. The head wall is gonna, like I say, I hadn't even started on that yet.
Okay, so do you want to just put like 50%, because what we're doing, we're counting both of those
Okay, that's
together.
fine, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and when you put in an approximate cost, include both of them, is what you do in that
I know
area.
what I've done up to this date, and then that secondary cost or that, the next cost is gonna be, I said, I'm probably gonna get that bid out.
Right, yeah. And again, we can just start with an estimate on there, and then, while we're still putting the project together and you bid it, we'll go up and we'll update it.
Okay.
All right, and again, what we wanna do is, attach that on how you got your bid, because, let me, how to explain this. We have FEMA has 4 different areas throughout the whole country that we call the Consolidated Resource Center. It's a group of people who are cost estimators and engineers and stuff like that, so that we're trying to stay consistent throughout the United States. So we help you put this together, they send it in, and they are the ones that double check it. If you have FEMA come up with the estimate, they usually use something like RS Means, and you know that's last year throughout the whole country, and what we've been finding out is since COVID, the costs changed dramatically, and a lot of these are coming in a lot lower than you guys think. If you put together your cost estimate and tell us how you got that money from the bidding process, as long as we put it out to a compatible bid, we use that to support it, and it shows that these are the costs that are going out there. So when we're just taking an estimate, when we get closer, we're gonna use your bid and we'll adjust the dollars and show that's where you got your money. And then when the cost estimators at the CRC see that you got this and you bid it, and then it's a lot easier to get them to validate that and approve it, okay?
Okay, so, we may, are you filling this out, Mr. Lane, for yours? What I can do is, I can just so I don't make a mistake before I leave here, can I get a copy of that? Yeah, and, because I know we were kind of jumping around from mitigation and back and forth and different things, I just want to make sure I get it right. And then on the next page, of course, trees comes out. On the DA's office, is that 100% complete?
Yes, wouldn't say, I think it actually finished yesterday.
Okay. I knew Benny had said that she thought one of them was 100% complete.
Right. And I can update you on that. You know, the last time we talked about the DA's office and the courthouse, FEMA said, Benny said that if we hadn't contacted our insurance company, we needed to do so.
Good.
So since then, we've done that. I guess it was last week. Got the guy out here, we went to the 4th floor. We looked at everything that I showed Benny, but we went ahead and got on the roof, where Benny didn't get on the roof. And so he said that he would take over working with FEMA, that because our insurance was through Texas Association of Counties.
Okay.
So as an adjuster, he said that they would take over reporting the damage. He did a pretty thorough as far as all the measuring, and he got really detailed on the damage.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'll be the one that's coming up with that cost, repair cost.
Okay.
In the meantime, we had actually had a contractor come in and give us a quote for the repairs.
Okay.
And so I sent him that quote. It's been emailed to him, he has received it, and he has also received a copy of what it cost us to repair the DA's office. So he's got the quote on the courthouse, he's got the cost of what it was at the DA's office. He said that he would work with FEMA, they would determine what portion the insurance company should be responsible for and what portion FEMA would be responsible for. So I don't know if that takes that out of y'all's lap on this page right here.
No, it's heading right in the same direction that we were gonna talk about.
Okay.
So again, with this, FEMA used to go up on the roof, and we don't anymore because of multiple different reasons. Make sure we're
Okay, why? Because that little ladder up there is scary.
Yeah. A lot of it is also we don't have experts up there. So, and insurance needs to be covered by everything, or at least looked at, because FEMA only participates in when everything else was looked at. So,
And I think they were looking at what damage that we have right now was caused from that storm.
Right.
Because we pointed out some things in the courthouse, that the courthouse is damaged, but it wasn't from that storm. So they're going to be very detailed on this claim, I guess, that we're making,
Correct.
which is from that storm.
Correct.
And so FEMA's not getting charged with something that's.
And that's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
well,
gonna be-
he was very thorough and upfront about that, and
Perfect.
like I say, because we're looking at damage basically on the north and the west side of the building.
Okay.
We don't have any storm damage from that storm on the south, even though there's some places we could get fixed up a little bit. That didn't happen in a storm, and they're on the south side and the east side. So
Okay.
you'll see on his, when he fills out his report, it was that side and that side.
Okay, perfect.
So, and for this, do you have an idea of what his report's gonna say for approximated costs?
I don't, like I say, I haven't received his report yet.
Okay,
I did get a text from him this morning, it was just confirmation that he had received the cost repair for the DA's building, and that he had received the not to exceed quote that we received from the contractor.
okay.
So like I say, 'cause even at that, we still have to get 2 more bids.
Right, I just, and I may just have to come up with a filler.
Yeah, and again, I don't.
I can tell you that the not to exceed quote on this was 300,000.
Okay,
Okay.
that's what I would do, just throw that on there right now. Again, we have.
That's
the
where we're at. We have, that's
That's
from our
fine.
contractor, and then the adjuster's got it in his hands.
Okay,
Believe me, I appreciate you guys, you're trying to be as honest with this as you can, but at this point, I don't wanna put any more pressure on you. Let's just throw the 300 on there, and then when you get the rest of the information, you just connect with the PDMG. We'll go in and we'll update it. We can update it anytime. It's just, we just gotta start with something.
Okay.
so I got 300,000 and 0% complete. Is that
Correct, on the
Okay.
courthouse.
And just a figure for the DA,
We should have an exact amount, but I don't remember.
but that's all.
You want me to,
Look at the 174,000.
Let me go double check real quick.
you want me to go ask?
Yeah, I have it in there. Okay, we should have it.
Because as Dave was talking about, this right here gets it into the system. The system also realizes that we got time of going down the road and things change, and it allows us to go back in and make changes as we get more and more accurate on what the costs.
About 10% on it too.
Well, that's just it. What we approved, it wasn't necessarily gonna be that much because of the insurance, builder's risk insurance.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Builder's risk, and then there was also another policy that we talked about, and we wound up doing an agreement. He signed, our district attorney drew it up. It was compatible to, what do you call it, waiver of subrogation. But it wasn't called that. It wasn't
And-
titled that.
While we're on those, I heard you talk about a date of damage. I know that you may not be specific on your date, but was,
I've got, I was gonna say, I seen that in the big box right there. I need to run out to my truck to get that, because I've got those dates, and I just forgot to bring the
Oh,
book in.
okay.
But I have it in the truck.
Okay.
For each one on my stuff, plus the courthouse and the,
okay.
I think the courthouse and DA's office will be on May the 5th, but I've got it, if you can go get it real quick.
Okay, that'll be fine, and that'll help close out the inspection reports. And if I can get a copy of what you filled out right there, I think that'll be precinct 3.
Yes, sir.
And then on precinct 4, I think what I was a little bit confused on, and I think Commissioner Ridge, the 1080, 1080, and 1080, that was just 3 repairs on one road. Is that it?
Three repairs on one road, and I also had another repair at the bridge. These were all culverts. These 3 things here were culverts. I had another repair on the bridge down there where the end of the bridge washed out, and it ate under the head wall of the bridge. So I had a contractor come in and took a track hoe and removed one tree, just got it out of the way so that the water can rechannel the water so that it would go down, could run better and not swirl there. And I have, that's not on my list, but I have a invoice for that one too.
Okay.
Now, others were culverts.
And that was all on 1080?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, and I have invoices and everything has been done with the culverts have already been put back in. One place we put one, another place we put two, another place we put one, and it was, the contractor gave me his part of the deal. I've got that here, what he charged us. The only thing that I bought was I bought two 72-inch culverts, about 50 foot, that cost $9,888, and I got all this written down.
Okay.
3 loads of rock that I still have got to put some more rock down, but 3 loads of rock at 702, and two loads of oil sand at 4,000. Now that's not counting my labor with my employees and my equipment. But I'll be glad to make y'all copies of this.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, and I can give it to y'all, and you tell me what else you need back.
Okay.
The only thing I have not done is on County Road 971. I have not made any repairs on there.
Okay, that's 971 or 941?
That's 71. 941, I have, wait. 1095, I've got that taken care of.
Okay.
941. I've got that one taken care of. I've got the invoices and the cost.
Okay.
And you say 971?
You brought up 971, and we didn't see one on this list. We want to know if we need to add that.
971?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I haven't done any work on it yet.
And that's okay, but if it was damaged during the event,
Yes, sir.
let's add it on to this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that just,
It's a bridge, that undermined the bridge, and we've already put stuff in there, packed stuff in there, and now we're gonna go down and try to put some metal behind there to keep it from, because what happens is when the water gets up high, then all the stuff starts falling out the creek, and finally it goes from the top down.
Right.
So we're gonna go down and put some plate metal down in the bottom there.
okay, is that force account or contract?
It'll be, force account.
Okay, and the other bridge was contract?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1080 bridge was contract?
Yes, sir.
And the culverts were
Contract.
contract? Okay.
And some of my, of course, I got some costs to the contractor's cost because I have to have the culverts, I had to buy those, and then the rock and oil sand, I have to do those.
Okay,
Would
so
be F, A, and C.
that would be both, force account, okay. And then, let's see, on the 941 damage repairs and 1095 damage repairs, was that contract, force account, both?
Contract and force account.
Okay, all right. And you said 941 was done?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And, okay, and then the the 3 culverts on 1080, all of those are also 100%?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you've got the cost there. I think that's,
Right,
And I just need to add that one on 1080 at the bridge where the bridge washed
you
out.
need to add a fourth one to
So, yeah, on 1080. Yes, sir.
yes, I've got down here a bridge at 1080 and a bridge at 971.
Yes, sir.
Okay, those will be 2 that we add, and I've got force account and contract on both of those. And then, let me ask you this, on 1080 on the bridge, are you through with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then what about on 971, the bridge? You said you still had a little bit more work to do on driving that sheet pile, or yes?
Yeah, I still have some work to do on it.
Okay, so 50% done or 75? Just your best estimate?
Just 50.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know what I'll have to do. I'll have to dig it all back out and then go put the plate in there. I may just go put the plate in there and not have to dig it out. You know,
Sure.
It's just So it's, I mean, we gotta wait till the water goes down, we can get down in there, you know.
Okay.
And it's holding the way it is, and as long as it don't rain, it'll hold.
And on 971, at this point in time, if you have a lat long, just let me know until we get that. I'm gonna just put Fairfield in as a physical address. But
For which one, the bridge?
971, the new one. down at the bottom.
All right, yeah.
And 1080, I'll just use, I've got some, on 1080, the bridge, I'll do the same thing, but if we could just get a lat long for your two bridges, locations that we're adding.
The locations?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, I
Hold on a
think,
second, let me, to make sure that, so, the one bridge that you put in some temporary work, are we gonna use that same same material?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, so we'll keep that on that, you add that in, and the additional work that we need to move it out to get it adjusted and put it back, all that money is still there. Okay, so, again, I'm not gonna, with the one that we were talking with Commissioner Lane about where something's getting removed and we're making that into a category B, with this one, since you're using the same material, we just need to make sure you estimate the hours that it would take to temporarily remove what you put in there and then put it back. Okay, so I'm not gonna recommend that we do this at category B, I just think it's he's just doing it in shifts. You put enough in there while the water was high, then you're gonna go back and make it better. Okay, I gotcha.
and then the only other question I had was on Cat B, and Mr. Lane's not in here, is the fact that he said he put some riprap in there. He's gonna take that out, but he said he's gonna feather it up and downstream, so he's gonna reuse them, he's gonna use that material.
Can use that, again, let's make sure we talk that out with him, because if he said it's broken up concrete, I don't know if, again, we need to look at, he may need to remove that, because I don't know what the environmental would say about leaving broken up concrete or not. Again, I don't know what happens I'm in so many different cities and states, and that I don't know what some of the rules are. So again, if he wants to put riprap back in there, let's make sure we check with environmental, can they use that? Okay? If we need to remove that concrete because he put it in during emergency conditions, and he knows he's gonna remove it, but he needs riprap there, then we would estimate out what eligible riprap, which type of rock and what size, you know, to do. You see where I'm getting with that?
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Because I hate for us to have that in there and then all of a sudden they say it's not eligible because of some kind of I don't know. I've run into problems also because of what was in the concrete and then it does something to the water and they don't want that in permanently. Environmental's got so many different things that I don't know about.
So what we'll end up doing after I get a copy of yours, Commissioner Lane, and then also Commissioner Ridge, if I can get those, not estimates, but the costs that you have, I will take this and I'll update these sheets. We will probably have time, because I'm going to try to do that. I go out of town tomorrow, but by the end of this week, I'm going to try to have these updated. I'll send them back out for everybody to look at. And if you're good with those, then I'll get them with Dave and we'll talk about that grouping that.
It just seems like all of them have culverts in it, so they're gonna be on their own DIs. And again, when putting into a DI is one thing, and then we can still group up DIs and put it into a project. Depending on how you guys have the money or how you got it done, there's a reason sometimes we group them up into one because you can't separate all the work, but you know they did all 5 of these. Let's all group that into a project and nobody worries about it because we look at it holistic instead of individually.
Well, that's true. The only two you have just road damage on are 941 and 1095, it looks like. So
I think
okay.
Now, some of these on 1080, You can change, all the ones on 1080 have, the culverts have all been repaired.
Right.
They're all in the ground. I mean, it's where it says 0% over here.
I've got 100% now.
Okay, so you put that in there 100%?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm gonna change it to.
Okay, yes. I may still have to go back and add some rock or some other things.
That's, what we wanna do is estimate if you think you're gonna get it done in the next, like, month or two, you know, again.
Yes.
All right, because it's gonna take us a while to get this process through, we don't wanna go and hold you guys up for something else when you know you're gonna get this done. And you can estimate out the rest of it, you give us the actual cost and then the estimate for the remaining 5% or 10% of the work.
So when will we get the form back on the debris?
I'm gonna check with Deborah when I get in today.
Okay.
And I hope to get that, like I said, I'm going out of town tomorrow, I hope to get that back to you, by Friday at the latest.
Okay. And that way we can come up with our keep it going.
Yes.
Okay.
Will these copies, will these help, with this help you? If I go make y'all copies?
I know we've hit a lot.
We don't need it right now, but we will need it.
Okay.
Okay, so whatever best for you, I mean, later on,
Oh,
you can,
okay, I can wait.
you don't have to get them to us today.
Okay.
I know we've hit a lot, but are there any questions, of us? Dave, did you have anything else that you wanted to
I think
put out on the table?
you guys did a real good job on this stuff, you really did, and I appreciate you, just really limited to what you want. It's not a wish list, to me, the way you guys explained this is all legit stuff, and it's stuff we
Yeah,
need
we
to help
left,
you
I
guys
left
with.
some other stuff off. I say mine there, I bet I left 6 culverts off, they were just spotty.
A lot of road repair, we
Hey,
had to fix,
we
and
just, I mean,
wash out here and
we
there.
knocked it out.
Yeah,
Sure.
leave it on there.
And I was lucky in my precinct that I didn't get twice as much damage as they did.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, storms come through certain areas and they come through, just like that area on 1080, you know, it damaged all that, and then some other places, it didn't even damage it, you know, but.
Yeah, it's, I'm finding that this was really unique, because everywhere I've gone, it's been different.
Yeah.
And it's not like, wow, everybody's running the same thing. And you all had it at a little bit different times, and you got hit 2 or 3 times on each one of them too.
Oh, yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like, wow.
It started.
So,
And it all happened on the weekend.
Commissioner Ridge, if I can get
After Thursday.
a copy of those
After
officers,
Thursday.
I know, or,
He said, just wait till,
Yeah, let's wait and get those weekends, go ahead. Do
okay.
you need estimates from them?
I mean, I could be glad to go out
Well,
somebody.
I can put approximate cost in before we leave today, if we can just get close. We don't, the documentation, like Dave said, kind of comes after all of this. So before we leave and kind of offline, I'll fill out some approximate costs.
Okay.
So, and here's the reasoning behind it, just so you know, is one of the things we used to do wrong all the time, and we still do it, is we would ask for the information, we'd forget to put it away, someone would leave and they'd ask it for you again. I don't want to take it right now because we haven't even got this into a project to make sure. So right now, we would be holding on to it.
Yeah.
We know we're gonna lose him on the 25th.
What?
And they may even send me up to Fort Worth. I don't wanna lose this stuff and then I've got another team that's asking me the same questions. I want us to get to the point where we know what project it is, and either you can send it to us and we'll do it, and we'll put it away right away so you know where it is, instead of me holding on to it, or we can work with Leonard or something, because you guys have the option to put those things in also. But it'd be better if we have a project that you know it's associated to, and if you give it to me early, I got a feeling that something's gonna get lost and we're gonna ask for you something twice, and I hate to do that.
Larry, what was the cost on the roof?
174 or something. I gave it to,
Okay, I put 174 in there. 174,000 on the DA, and I put 300,000 on the
Courthouse.
courthouse.
Good.
So, all right, well, one of the, Brandy,
They went to lunch.
Yes, sir.
did you have, any other questions? I think we're at a stopping point.
No, I don't have any questions right now, thank you.
Okay, appreciate you joining.
Yes, sir, thank you.
And, before we leave, Dave, like I said, I was just gonna get some information.
Okay, that's fine.
y'all for coming.
Okay, oh, it's no problem. I'd rather us take the time to come and see you, especially these things, because this would have been very difficult to ask these type of questions over the phone. We can get to the point when you talk face to face, so.
I have